Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. Make sure my audio works. And then I can start. Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. Make sure my audio. Off desktop audio. Okay. Hey, it's working. All right, I've got 3 audits to do today. I'm going to try and do them live, figuring out the software and technical aspects of this is mostly what I'm trying to test out today. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm just going to do all the effort that goes into the audits or if I'm going to actually record them. That part is TBD. I might test record them and then do the actual recordings after, or like an additional recording after, because again, the technology side of things. But we're going to try and jump into this and pick up right where I was. I started to prep this a little bit because it's been a while since I've done these audits. So I have 3 of them to do. I have 3 different windows completely because it's a lot of tabs to keep track of. But let's jump into this. So the first business that we are doing an audit for is called My Tree Guy. They are based out of Kentucky. So right in this area, Winchester, Kentucky. So what I've done so far is gone through just the basics of their Google Business Profile. The next step is to look at their competition and then the websites and the directories for both of them and their competition. I'll explain why I have the competition so closely paired at when I'm actually doing the audit. But cool. All right, so let's look at the competition. I like this new feature in Chrome where you can split. Looks like that shows up. My camera might be covering some of this stuff, but I can take it on and off as needed in the future. So for the reviews for the competition, they have 84 reviews, which is great. That is above 30. They have a perfect 5.0, so that is above a 4.7. Do they have 2 customer reviews this month? We go to reviews, we go to new. This was a month ago. This was 2 months ago. So the answer to that is no. Some crazy coloring on a tree. Responding to reviews. That's one response. That's another. Yeah. So we can't tell exactly if it's within 48 hours, but they are responding to customers, which they get the check for. So this My Tree Guy business versus the Climb to the Top LLC. When it comes to reviews, Climb to the Top definitely has the upper hand, which is why they're ranking higher, or one of the factors that goes into them ranking higher on Google. So let's check the basic business information now for Climb to the Top. They have tree service in their name, which is something I'm looking for. They're in the right category, which is something I'm looking for. They have their phone number. They have a website link, which is great, and a booking link, so they get points for that. I don't have them pulled up if we can see their social profiles, so we'll open a new tab here. They have Facebook. Just take a peek at their Facebook real quick. Not available, so that's either a bad link because Facebook does change their links from time to time, or they shut down the page and didn't update it here. So they don't get points for that. They have a physical location, which is great. They have open 24 hours and maybe even some holiday hours. No, online service hours. That's different. Okay. And integrated CRM button, no. But this booking link is pretty rare to see. Let's see if it just goes to their same homepage. It does. So they had good intentions, but didn't pull off. This contact us form should definitely be above all this information. That's not what we're here for, though. Okay, integrated CRM button, they don't. So they're slightly higher than the My Tree Guy. Let me get this business owner's name. James. So they're above James's business. Let's look at their media. This first picture is okay. I'd much rather a picture like this, where it's someone doing a technical climb with a saw. Like, even this is a really great picture. You guys climb stuff. So they do have photos. Seems like they have 10 or more. They have some videos, so they get points for that. They don't have monthly added photos, so they don't get points for that. They do have photos of the crew, so they get photo points for that. Okay. So their media is much better, even though it's just at a B. It's much higher than an F. And then the post, I forgot, we need to go back to the other view to see this. They do have post February 4th. So the consistency is quite weird, but they are more consistent than most, which is fantastic. Yeah, not mad at that. Definitely could be better, but we're looking for better than most, and that's what they have. Weekly added updates. They don't have weekly, but they have monthly. I'll give them that. They don't have their services listed as products, and I don't believe that they have a Q&A section. I don't see one. Okay. So that is how they stack up to their competition just from a Google Business Profile standpoint. This is important to know because this shows you how much effort you need to put in to rank number one. If you were the only guy in your area or the only one in your service area, then just having an account or having a profile is good enough. But because you're not the only person in your area and this is the guy who's ranking number one in your area, that's why it's important to know how much effort to put in. You can put in the effort to make all of these an A. That's fantastic. But I understand you're a small business owner, and as such, your resources and time are limited. So this shows you the things to focus on. The most important is definitely reviews. So getting more reviews, getting those rank up higher is going to be a huge factor in you ranking higher in the areas that you're trying to. You don't have a menu navigation at the top here, so that's one red flag. Uh-oh. Disconnected. Reconnected. Okay. Looks like we're back. Is back up. Cool. So what I was saying is we're looking for if this website has two things. Does it have service pages and location pages? I'll explain what those are as we're going. This website doesn't have a menu navigation at the top here, so I don't get the warm fuzzies that this is going to have service pages. Yeah, this website, even though it was either made or updated in 2025, is lacking a couple of things. So this probably is your Google Maps section, like just not being able to scale properly for the different devices that this is going to get seen on. Same thing here. Something weird with this background was just a lot of empty space. This video isn't half bad, but the quality of it is very low. So there's a couple of things to look at when it comes to optimizing. Oh, it was just loading really slow. Okay. So you have your services here. Snow removal is good to know. That's something that makes you unique. Um, you have your services here, but you don't have service pages. And the reason that's important is to give Google more information about your business, who you are, what you do. So each of these, instead of just being text on your main page, should have their own page dedicated to them so that Google can scrape all the information and just know more about you and therefore provide your name to people who are searching a ton of different things online. So that's one thing. The other is your service area. So it looks like you used to have a widget that was here that maybe showed, your exact location or possibly even your service area. but you also want individual pages for all the cities that you serve. That way, again, Google just has that information. You're giving your own unique spin on what you do in each of those locations. You're being able to name neighborhoods that you like in, species of trees that you work on, all that good information. So that Google has all that. So when people are searching for any type of information in those cities or near me, you can come up more often than others who don't have all that information. So that is one benefit to having both of those things. Doesn't look like you have either. So the functionality, do you have a contact form? Do you have matching NAP, which is name, address, and phone number? I saw some of that information down here. My tree guy, that's your email. This is the same address, 62107 and 62107. So you have the same phone number. That's fantastic. So I'll give you points for having the same name, address, and phone number. But let's double check and see if your contact form. I think I clicked on it once and it brought me. Oh, here at the bottom. Sure, this works. I'd love a dedicated page for that, but you do have it, so I'll give you points for that. And then the performance. So I have page speed indicator. The reason I like using this one is because not only is it just a Google tool, but the fact that it's a Google tool means that this is more closely to what Google is ranking your website on. They do actually rank you based off of your performance. Um, it looks like it's performing fairly well when it comes to your SEO. So that's fantastic, but your performance is low, like I even saw with some of the things loading very slowly. This is on mobile as well. Yeah, your performance is even worse on desktop, which is not usually the case. So I really like this website. If you have, it looks like you have someone who created the website for you down here at the bottom. So if you even just send them this report and say, hey, can we work on, the things that it's saying here, it goes into pretty good detail about, each of these sections and what's going on and all that. So if they are able to make some of these changes, this is a fantastic roadmap to send them. And all you have to do is come to pagespeed.web.dev and put in your website, and it'll give you the same exact report that it's giving me. So there's that information. So yeah, I think you're mobile responsive, but you're definitely not fast loading. So I can give you points for that. Let's leave these open and quickly look at your competition. So these guys were climbing to the top. They do have menu navigation, they have services, and they have pages for each service. Oh, okay. I was going to say it was not enough content on here. This needs to be 1,500 words or more in content. Looks like they have this a bit funky and jittery, but the information is here, so that's good. You can give them that. Let's look for service area. Just one of those kind of deals is an interesting one. They have it here, but it doesn't look like they have pages. It's like it was broken, wasn't it? So they do have one, just the link changed on. Okay, let's see what this deals page is all about. Free estimates, special discounts. Okay, interesting. Their contact us page does work. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping down a bit. Do they have a matching name, address, and phone number? 8545. No, phone number is different. That is not good. There are reasons to do that if you are tracking where your phone calls are coming from, but Google does ask for you to have the same exact phone number. You have two phone numbers right here. Another phone number here. The emergency service. Okay, so you have all your phone numbers here. Let's see if my brain. Oh, 0306. Okay, so you do have the same phone number, so that's good. Listing them all out is actually a good thing to do. So you do have the same phone number. Let's see your actual address written out anywhere here. So I'm going to say no. is having the same name, address, phone number. You do have the map, which is fantastic, but you need that address written out here so that Google can trust that this is your website. You just want to give them every signal that they're asking for, and name, address, and phone number is something that they're asking for. So you don't get that. Um, let's throw you into the page speed. This is going to take a couple seconds so we can jump down to the next thing, which is the top three directories. So Better Business Bureau, Yelp, and Yellow Pages. I want to see if they're listed on them and if they have that name, address, and phone number that matches on all of them. So for my tree guy, I have this pulled up. I did go through this already and I wasn't able to find any of them. I have this tool that we use that just shows all the directories that you could be listed on. Not all of them, but there's about like 40 some directories here that you can be listed on. And this one does say that they're found on Yelp. I wasn't able to find this account and until we work together. I'm not going to dig more into this, but you can see that they're not present on a lot of different directories. So I'm not going to give them points for any of them. I can take this name and go through here. Don't see it on Yelp or Yellow Pages rather. Don't see you on Yelp. And we don't see you on. Just want to make sure this is the right KY. Aha. Let's go back to just said my tree guide. Specify the state. Yeah, look at that. You are again. Ford Road. Is that correct? No. You are on Better Business Bureau, but you're not having your name, address, and phone number match. And for these guys, it's the right city, it's the right name. Don't see the phone number on here. Oh, there's 8545. I think that's a different one, right? Correct. Okay. So same. Okay, so that is how I quickly perform an audit. I'm going to do a separate recording because some of the technology stuff is difficult and I don't want it to cut off. But that's the first one. Let's now do that two more times and I'll try to have some additional information. This guy next. Right coast. This is the directories. The last thing that I didn't show you guys here is you can also take the website and throw it into Google Ad Transparency Center and see if they're running ads. We can also do this with Facebook ads library. My tree guide, I think we're gonna get yes, KY. Yeah, this name is not unique enough. But it doesn't look like he's running Facebook ads either. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. Right coast. Which be here, transparency is at the end, this can go here, this can go right after that. All right. No way. Business name is just tree? I don't think that's right. Right coast. Whoops. Okay. Oh, it's a service area. Okay. So I can talk about why I don't like service areas. This is quite a large service area, my friend. Let's duplicate this and try to find your biggest competition. It's more difficult when you don't have just a camera's freezing. Hopefully my audio is okay. It's difficult when you don't have just a address attached. I'll turn my camera off for this one and see if that's any better. So the service area doesn't show up as well for, oh wow, you even have this like separate area up here. This doesn't show up as well for customers. So when they're searching tree service near me or just tree service or anything on Google, it's very, very unlikely that you're going to show up because of the service area. So if I'm inside of this area, tree service, and I search for tree service, um, right coast is either going to show up super low or not at all because it prioritizes businesses with a physical address and a PIN. That's the reason why having a physical address is so powerful. You can see pretty much all of these are going to have a physical address, and that's not because there aren't other businesses with a service area around you. It's just that they're not showing up nearly as much. It's not to say that they won't show up at all, but you won't show up nearly as much. So what I'm going to do from this range, even a little bit farther out, because this is pretty much everyone you're competing with when you say you have a service area. So you're going to be competing with the people who have the most. Yeah, so these three guys, even four guys having, around 200 reviews, that's a lot of reviews. And they're all near Orlando, what it looks like. Can you not? Yeah, they're all like right in the heart of Orlando. So because your service area encapsulates Orlando, you're competing with the people who are in the most competitive area and at the top of that competition area. So the reason being in these top three is because this is where 80% of the traffic is going. So when customers are looking for tree service near you, whether they're in Google Maps or they're just on a regular Google search, if you say tree service near me, what's going to come up is called the map pack, which shows the top three people in your area. And even if your customers are doing their due diligence and contacting three different companies, they're going to be the top three that show up. Very rarely, or 20% of the time, do they scroll down and actually look, farther than the top three. So you really want to prioritize being in the top three. Extremely hard to do when you just have a service area. Not impossible, but much, much harder if you don't have a physical location. All right, so we're going to take the Doctors of America. Oh, Tree Doctors, not the Tree Doctors of America. Interesting name as your biggest competition. So I'm going to throw that into the audit tool. As your biggest competition, I'm going to update that. I'm going to open. I thought I did open this. First, to open the audit. So Tree Doctors of America now shows up here, which is great. And we're going to split this view. That's not what I want. We're going to split this view so that we can do this audit a little bit quicker. So we're looking at reviews first off. It's a very high weighted priority for how Google dictates who's going to be in the top three. Reviews is super important. So 83 reviews is fantastic. You have more than 30, you're 4.9, which is fantastic. You have at least two customer reviews this month. You have one from a day ago, congrats, and 2 weeks ago, you got a 1 star. Um, Usually this is from a no-show, but that looks a little bit more detailed. So that's something you can maybe reach out to them and see, how can you fix or help them. Sometimes you just get customers that don't work for your business. So we won't focus on that. You did get two reviews, so I'll give you that. Responding within 48 hours doesn't look like you're responding at all. That's another thing just to show Google that you're an active business owner, you're paying attention. They actually just recently, let me see if I can't pull this up while we're here. Google just put out what they are calling a playbook, and it goes over pretty much everything that I'm talking about in this audit and how to do it. So, very helpful guide. Well, they have reviews in here somewhere. Responding to reviews. So this is their best practices guide. They call it a playbook. Um, you know, 65% of customers say they are more likely to choose a business that responds to reviews. So they're the guys with all the data. They're saying that this, can help make the decision. It's not saying it's going to get you 65% more traffic, but it does say that they've um, had their users vote, whatever that's called, gotten user feedback, maybe is a better way to say that. And 65% of their consumers say that they like when you respond. It also does another thing that Google sees that you're being an active business and they like and reward that. So there's two reasons why you should be doing that. Okay, fine. So let's look at your general business information. Business name, Right Coast Tree Care. You have tree care in there. I like that. You're in the right category, which is tree service. You have a phone number, which is great. You have a website link. I haven't actually pulled up yet, so take a look at that together. Do you have social? You do. You have Instagram and Facebook. Let's make sure these work. Instagram works. Facebook works. Post sporadically, a lot on November 3rd, October, sporadically. Let's say that. So you do have social profiles. You do not use a booking link, business address. Do not have, you have service area. You are open 24 hours, which is great. Do not have an integrated CRM button. Taking a look at the media, which does make a decision or can make an impact on customers' decisions to work with you. This is a great photo showing technical difficulty of cutting a tree above power lines. That's number one and can be challenging. So you're tied up. That's great. You climb. Fantastic. Again, another picture of you using a rope and climbing. Fantastic. You have a crew. Lots of pictures of your crew, your equipment. These are all great. The one thing I can say about this picture is human faces is what builds trust. So having a more close-up photo of you in a tree working of your face definitely can help convert more customers, but this is pretty good. So you have lots of pictures. You are not adding them monthly, which I can see. Usually there's a category up here that's called like recent, but you do have videos, so that's good. And you do have pictures of the crew. So pretty good media. Could be better just by adding more and by showing more close-ups of faces of people smiling or hard at work or whatever. That's been proven to build more trust with customers. So something to be aware of. All right, this next part that we're going to look at is, do you have your products listed as services? Sorry, your services listed as products. You have weekly added updates in a Q&A section, and we can see all that from right here. So it doesn't look like you have any Postmate, doesn't look like you have your services as products, and it doesn't look like you have a Q&A section. So those are three things. Again, you're just giving Google more information so they know more about your business. Always a good thing to do. So you don't have any of those, that's okay. Not a horrible score, B plus, definitely some places to improve. Where this becomes important is compared to the competition. So Tree Doctors of America, we're gonna split this and we're gonna pull up Tree Doctors. We're gonna put them right here. And we're gonna do the same thing. I'll go a little bit faster. 204 is crazy. That's a lot of reviews. 4.9, that's fantastic. They probably have 22 hours ago, a day ago. Yeah, they're getting lots of reviews pretty constantly, and they are responding. So perfect score there. Good for them. About their business, they have an optimized name. Tree Doctors is a little weird. It's fine because you still have tree in there, but tree service is like very strong. That's what the category name is. But if that's the name of their business, that's the name of their business. They're in the right category. They have a phone number. They have a website link. We can check their, did that pull up? This is Florida. They come up. Beautiful. They have social profile. The link is probably wrong. I'm assuming they have a Facebook page. They need to change their link so they don't actually get points for having a social profile. They are not using a booking link either, which is surprising. They do have a physical address. They are not open 24 hours, which is interesting as well. They don't have an integrated CRM button. So once you're this big, you could maybe have some more tech. Maybe they do have a physical location that they want people to go to. So that's why they don't have 24 hours. But maybe not. Maybe they just don't know that tactic and they've reached critical mass of doing the little things. It's not something they've done their research on. So B minus. Their media, they have lots of photos. They are adding photos monthly, which is nice to see. They have photos of their crew and their equipment. It's a great picture. And they have video. So they're doing all of those things. Now, this will be the interesting part. Do they have post update or do they have service listed of products, updates, and a Q&A section? They do have their posts. These are not updated as frequently as I would have thought for a business of this size. You don't actually get points for that. They don't have a Q&A section and they don't have their products listed as services. So they don't actually get points for any of that. Interesting. So yeah, from a apples to apples comparison, a B minus is not far off from a B. The thing that's really not well shown here is the number of reviews. So even if you were able to respond to more reviews and continue to grow your review side of your business, it's going to take you a while to catch up to 200. Usually, Orlando's just an extremely competitive area. So that's why not having a physical address is really shooting yourself in the foot. Because then you're just competing with the best of the best in all of these areas. And obviously that's pretty difficult to do. So something to consider. All right, let's look at the website. So you have your menu here, you have your services, we have individual pages, we don't, we have a page with all the services on there. Better than just being on the home screen, but you really want these to be individual pages with 1,500 words or more of content on them. So you don't have service pages, and I don't think I saw location gallery. Looking about. It's possible. No. Okay. So those two things can really help a website rank higher is having services with each of these services having their own page as well. and then location, each location or city or however you want to divide up your location, because you'll know it better than I do. And talking about the specific things, the neighborhoods that you serve, the types of trees in those areas, all that information that you know from actually working in those areas. Really great information to put on a website. Therefore, Google can use that information, and you can run ads to the certain locations and areas, and they can feel seen in the ad, and like you understand who they are and what their needs are. So definitely want those two things. Functionality, do you have a contact form? Does your name, address, and phone number work? We have a call now button. Book an appointment. Is this Jobber? Hey, we love Jobber. Nice. I think that could be, I mean, it's 2 seconds of work, and you can attach this to your Google Business profile as that booking link. Something we like to do. Um, you have phone number. Ooh, you have your license and insurance. Oh, you don't actually have it linked here. That's always a nice touch. You have the phone number. I don't see an address. You do have the name, so you don't get name, address, and phone number either. Um, I'll count Jobber as a contact form. You should really have a native contact form right on your website. Oh, you do. Just not where I thought it would be. Yeah, so this is great. Add a contact form. Fantastic. And then performance. So we can throw your main page right inside of this tool here. Oh, I didn't actually go back to that on the other guy. That's okay. Let's just wait here for a second because I will forget to come back if we move forward. What we can do, yeah, let's take too long, is look at your competition's website. So do they have service pages? They have service area and service pages. Ooh, look at that. They've done it. So I'm not just blowing smoke. This is an actual good thing to do for SEO. So you have your services, you have what you do, and you have a page with 1,500 words or more. They went overboard. Not overboard. They did more than 1,500 words, but this is fantastic information. You want these to be unique, which it looks like they are. Different pictures, different verbiage. Fantastic. So this is really good for SEO purposes, and they have done it. Let me just double check the areas. You want these to be unique. If they're the same, they're actually hurting you. Mm, yeah, I'm not going to take the time to scan these, but these look pretty similar. That's okay, but something to be aware of. This isn't who we're super focused on, but the fact that they have service areas and location pages, very, very important. Their functionality, sure, they also have their phone number here. I like the contact form there personally. This is a really simple contact us form. You're not going to get much. This is going to be some more back and forth. That's probably unnecessary. I understand keeping it slim, but I like to at least ask a little bit more information there. Anyways, they have it. Let's check if they have their address. They do. They have phone number. True Doctors of America. So they have the name, address, and phone number in there. Mobile responsive. Yeah. So this is back to. Let's also get this business owner's name. Ryan. This is back to Ryan's website. You got a couple of issues here. Performance, we don't like to see below like a 75, honestly. So this is on mobile. Got some things to work on there. 75, right at 75 for your desktop. So this could probably use a second pair of eyes and something to optimize. Sorry, was it mobile responsive? Yes. Just yeah, there's some issues there, but it was mobile responsive, so I'll give you points for that. I won't give you points for fast loading because that's not. And then we will throw your competition in here to see how they do. And then the last thing we do, which takes a bit of time, is looking at whether you're listed on the top three. This is again because this just dictates how big you are on the internet. I'm talking with my hands, even though you guys can't see me. But this dictates how big you are on the internet. So if you're on more directories, you have a wider net that you've spread, meaning that you can potentially catch more fish, but also Google likes to see that you're represented in more areas, especially if your name, address, and phone number are the same in all of those areas. You get bonus points for that. If you don't have this, then it's definitely not as strong. You want to make sure that you're using the same name, address, and phone number on all of these websites, even if that means that you have a multiple phone numbers, because if you're trying to do tracking purposes, it can kind of screw up tracking, but you have to weigh that decision based on where you're at in your business's life. If building trust with Google and getting ranked in the top three is more important to you than knowing exactly where all your traffic is coming from, then that's kind of a business decision that you have to make. Which one of those is more important? So we'll look at the Better Business Bureau. Right, cost tree care. Make sure this is Florida. Nice. Sorry, that's an ad. Not accredited, which is fine. Your full address is not listed here. 6001 is the right phone number, so I'll give you points for that, even though I don't know if that's your full address. Check Yelp. Right coast. Doesn't look like you're on Yelp. Let's just check this real quick. This says you're on Yelp. No, yes. 6001 name. Ooh, there's an address here, but not an address here. Interesting. So we'll give you points for that, and then the yellow pages is the last. Right, cost. It's in coast. Yeah, don't see you on here, so no points for that. And then let's go back, check on your competition. 52 on mobile, 74 is mobile responsive. Interesting that so many people are struggling with speed. I won't give it to them. All right. Now we need to take their name. Sorry, too many tabs open. Tree doctors, we're going to go up here. Now with that. Looks like it came up though. Nice. Yes, yes, yes. 4975. Let's just double check. 4975. Yeah. Yes, yes. Don't see them. The full ad pages, but here, a full page of ads. But I don't see them. Very interesting. Okay, so from a comparison standpoint, it looks like your competition is just slightly better than you. I said this already in this section, but it's kind of skewed because of how many more reviews that they have. So they don't have to do as much of the small tweaks to their profile because of how many reviews they have. That's really carrying them. Another thing we can do is let's just 204, so it's going to take a while, but you can go to their very first review and get a rough idea of how long their profile has been around. We don't need to go all the way. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay. 'Cause these are only from like a year ago. So they've really stepped it up in probably the last year with the amount of reviews that they're getting. So they have a very good system in place for getting these reviews. Doesn't mean that they're doing the most jobs, but it does mean that they have the best system in place for getting these reviews. 2 years ago, yeah. So I would bet that their account is older than 3 years old. Um, or their business is older than 3 years old. It's potentially not, and they just from 2 years ago known how important it is to get reviews. This is someone going back and responding to these because of how important Google says it is. So they opened the business or they started the profile roughly 3 years ago, and then they started taking their review process and responding more seriously about 2 years ago. So just some more information. So yeah, this one isn't bad. There's definitely some areas to improve, but let's move on to the very last one. I think it's this guy here. Oh, sorry. The last thing I like to check is the ads. So it doesn't look like they're running Google ads. Yeah, I'm not going to check Facebook. So there's that. No running of Google ads, which can be a good or a bad thing. Definitely spending some time on your Google business profile is going to be more beneficial from a return on investment because the amount of time and energy and money that it's going to take to get this right is not the same as ads, meaning you're going to have to put more money into ads to get more return. In the long term, ads could be a better play and often are. But in the short term, fixing your Google business profile is going to have a bigger impact more immediately on your business rather than Google ads. Yeah, the ROI is just going to be skewed more to the thing that's a lower cost and will be relevant for the entire life cycle of your business and is only getting more and more important every day as more and more people are using the internet to find tree service businesses. So there's my pitch on that. Okay, let's open up Green Man. Let's organize this a little bit. Page speed, map. That's fine. So even this tool is telling us like wrong address, wrong business name, because that's calling back to Google saying you need the same name, address, and phone number. So this could be either an old address, most likely is. Let's check what their current address is. 15050. What did they say? 1504. Yeah, so these are just completely different addresses. It could be a different business landscaping, but they have the exact same name, so you have to make sure this is okay. Yeah, and this one has, yeah, it's not. This is the right thing from Google. So you have either moved the business or this is a name that is similar to somebody else who has a different address. So you just need to go in. And if you create your own, even though you have the same exact name, if you have the same address and phone number in there, then Google will attach all these profiles to you and not that other business. The other business is impressive, though. They probably use the same exact tool because of how many they are listed on. But there is some, you're on the Chamber of Commerce, so that's great. Definitely some area for improvement here, but we'll get to that. Let me pull up the, oh no. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Perfect. I thought I was sharing the wrong screen the whole time. That would have been embarrassing. So let's pull this page up. Let's quickly find your biggest competition, which we do by looking at Google Maps, looking at where we are on Google Maps, drawing a line. It's usually 50 miles out is as far as I like to go. I'm going to duplicate this. And we're going to search. Ah, you're in landscaper. Now that might be part of your business, so I can't knock you for it just quite yet. Landscaping is in your business, so it's going to be better to be in landscaping or tree service. There are ways that I can check and make sure that you're in both. You should definitely be in both because that's to your advantage, because that makes you unique. Looking for Green Man, not Green Fro. Not in the top 10. This is roughly 20 miles out. Green Man, nice. That's really good, actually. 30 miles out. Not so much. Looks like you're in a fairly uncontested area, which is great. Okay, fantastic. So we'll call it like 20 miles out. Is where you're in the top three, so that's really good. We go a little bit farther than 20 miles out. Let's say 30-ish. Everything outdoors. I like this green pro more. It's on the other side completely. Ah, this is a service area. Very interesting. He's also smack dab in the middle. Is there anyone near you that you could be losing jobs to? Hello? Why is this different then? So probably, yeah, this guy's the closest to you. So let's take him as your biggest competition. Also, a huge amount of reviews. This is lawn care, and you're in landscaping. What's this guy? Landscaper. He's also pretty far away from me though. So this is not my a exact desired business. I like tree service businesses who just do tree service because the competition is a little bit more straightforward. Landscaping, you get caught up. You're even seeing it here with lawn care. And there's some other things that you can get caught up with, but we'll take this lawn and landscaper, add it to the account. Petition's name, update. Okay, come here, refresh this, and then we got their name up here, which I like to do. And we start the process over. So we're going to be looking at your reviews first. I don't even go here yet. So 96 reviews is over 30. Fantastic. Your rating is above 4.7, which is great. The reason that those two things are important, being above a 4.7 and having more than 30 reviews, is they're milestones that Google doesn't necessarily share, but we have seen through testing and reports that have come out that these two things are milestones. So if you're under a 4.7, you're going to be more suppressed, and Google's not going to share you as much as if you're above a 4.7. So that's an important number to keep in mind. And then also for the number of reviews, 30 is the bottom milestone, or the first milestone, maybe is a better way of saying that. Meaning that once you get above 30 reviews, then you're unlocked to show up in a farther range. Meaning, not only does Google trust you more, well, Google is trusting you more because you have social proof that people trust you. So those are two metrics that are important, and the reason that I have such specific information on here. Now, above 30, it's like 50 and 100, and then 200 are the next couple of milestones. And those all, again, just increase your trust with Google. It's not an exact, like, you'll be seen in a 5 mile radius, and then when you get above 30, you're seen in 10 mile radius. It's never an exact science because one, algorithm that Google uses is very sophisticated, but also local service businesses ranking is sophisticated because it's so location dependent. So again, if you're the only guy in a 20-mile radius, of course you're going to be number one. You're going to be the only thing that shows up. But if you're in a more competitive area, then these metrics mean more because that's yeah, there's just more competition in your area, so there's more milestones that are going to dictate how high up the list that you rank. And it's not cut and dry. It's not I have more reviews than this guy, I'm going to show up higher. They're like weighted differently. So there's a lot of variables that go into it, but this is all the things that I can see from the outside perspective. Now, if I work with any of these companies and I get to access the back end of their accounts, there are more things that we can look at and more things that we can tweak, more knobs that we can turn to try and get their ranking higher. But from an outside perspective, these are the main things that I like to look at. So that's why these are so specific. So the next thing that we want to look at is the amount of reviews you're getting every month. This is 2 months ago, 5 months ago, so you're not getting two a month, but you are responding. I can't see within 48 hours because we don't have recent enough reviews, but I'll give it to you because all those are responded to. So great job with reviews. Looking at the business basic information, you have lawn care and landscaping, which you are a landscaper, so we'll give you a good name, the right category, phone number, is here. Website link is here. Social profiles, we can check. Hey, what's going on? Let's get your exact address. All right. Do you have social profiles? They're great. Let's make sure these both pop up. If they do, fantastic. You get points for social profiles. You do not have a booking link. You do have a physical address. You are not open 24 hours, and you don't have an integrated CRM button. So, pretty good, but not perfect. The media. First picture is pretty good. Your landscaping, so your picture is going to be slightly different. The one thing that I'm seeing here that you're missing is your crew and human faces and videos. So you have photos, you have roughly 10 or more. You're not adding them monthly, you don't have any with your crew, and you don't have any video. So those are all things that can make customers trust you more. That's the big thing that you're trying to do with this account is make customers trust you. So showing pretty landscaping is great, but showing who is doing the landscaping is a very big factor. And just having humans in advertising has been proven time and time again to be more effective. And this is, a form of advertising, just the photos that you have attached to your account. So having your crew's faces in there is definitely something I would think about, and adding pictures more frequently, something I would think about. This next section is more technical, but service listed as products, weekly added updates in the Q&A section. You have posts, but they're old now, so these are not added frequently enough. You have no Q&A section and no products section, so you don't get points for any of that. That's okay. Before we move on to the website and the directory, what we're going to do is split this and pull up your competition. We're going to put your competition here, and we're going to look at what they're doing. So their reviews, they have 239, 5.0, very impressive. Oops. They have 6 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago. That's a little efficient. They could be doing 4 jobs a day, but as a local guide, that kind of makes it more legitimate. We could go, we could go, we could go, we could go. Wow. These are in weird batches, which means their system is probably batched together, where they say, like, they just have everyone, or they have someone, like, maybe once a week reaching out to all these people and saying, like, hey, we did a job for you this week, can you leave us a review? Is my best guess at why these are grouped together so nicely. They are getting reviews, but they're not leaving responses. That's interesting. So they're missing out there. Basic business, they have lawn and landscape. Fantastic. They're in, I guess, the right category. Again, this is slightly different than what I'm normally looking at. They have a phone number, they have a website, they have social profiles, which we have to actually just Google search them for. They have a TikTok and an Instagram and a post from 2025. which is now old. Surprisingly, they repost their TikTok content on Instagram. Sorry, we're not here to audit their social medias. So they do have social profiles. They do not use a booking link. They do have a physical address. They're not open 24 hours, and they don't have an integrated CRM button. So very similar to Daniel, Daniel's business, which is Raymond. The media. They have a picture of their building. They have a picture and landscaping. Pictures aren't loading. Yeah, so a lot of landscaping stuff. Um, same. Oh, that's one. Same. Yeah, like this should really be your, especially during Christmas. You're putting out lights for people. That's fantastic. Um, same thing though. You should have more pictures of your crew working. Like this is should be your hero image. That should be shown in a lot of places. That's a really good picture. Showing the different landscaping is good. Doing it with humans in the pictures is better. Doing it with human faces that you can see and trust, that's the best, especially in this era of AI. Yeah, this is a great picture. You have your crew, but again, we want to see their faces so that we know to trust them. But this shows like your crew and your equipment that you can handle multiple jobs a day. That's fantastic. So good photos, you have videos. They're not frequently added though. We do have pictures of your crew. So that's something else to consider. With the amount of jobs that are going on, you definitely can have the amount of media that you need. So that's something that they can think about. The post, let's take a look. They have old posts. They don't have a Q&A and they don't have services. So we're going to leave that link. Let's take a look at the websites now. All right. We're looking for two things. We're looking for services and service areas. These are more specific. I'm not going to dig into these as much on this slide because they're not straight tree care. So this is someone interested in working with us. So I am going to continue this out and cover this, but it's going to take me more brain power doing this live. So I'm going to pause there. I think the 2.5 audits that I did here hopefully gives us some content to edit around. If anyone watches this, hopefully gives you some value. If you do want to partner with us, we're still available and looking for more businesses to work with. And if you've made it this far, I'll give you a little free bonus. I can talk about two things actually. Um, I'm not even sure how to find this. So if you comment down below, um, best practices playbook, I will personally send this to you. Especially if you're a service-based business, they have this for other businesses, but I'm on an email list that this got sent out on. They don't make this very public, but this is a lot of the information that I cover in these audits and even what I do for my customers. The cool thing that this does is shows like the metrics from Google's perspective. Again, I can do my own calculations. I can look at other agencies and reports that are being done from other agencies to do some calculations. This is cool because you get to see it right from Google's mouth to us. Um, that's funny. So they built AI into some of this stuff. Um, but yeah, this is a cool thing to see. So if you are a business owner, if you're in charge of running your own Google business profile, and or if you have an agency that's doing it for you and they haven't talked to you about this, it might be worth just sending them to them. There's some updated information. Most of this is all the stuff that most business or Google business profile agencies are going to know. But there's just some good information in here. So I can definitely send this out to anyone who's interested, even about like getting verified. There's nothing like super top secret in here, but it's just all good like baseline information. The other thing that I can show you guys is on our website, we just recently made the audit tool. We have this tools section of our website and we put the audit my business. So you can get your own free audit tool now and put all your information in here and just run your own audit. And you can even book time to meet with me personally and talk about your business. My schedule is, more full than it used to be, but this is definitely something you can look at and book time with me if you're interested in, me doing this for you or doing it for yourself and seeing what results you get. I just like talking to small business owners, local service business owners about their businesses and how they can improve them. Google Business Profile is kind of where I started to cut my teeth and get some of my knowledge and see the impact that this has. I think this is one of the lowest dollars in, highest impact on your business things that you can do. But, as I've been doing this longer and working with people who have bigger budgets and all that, advertisement, like running the ads and all that is also something that I've become pretty versed in. So if you're interested in either of those things, booking time either through this website or putting a comment in the description below. While we're still in the growing phase, I look at all the comments, I read all of them. So if anyone's commenting and wants to get in touch, I'm more than happy to do so and have those conversations with you guys. All right, thanks so much. If you watched this long, definitely get in touch because there. If you have this much interest, then we need to talk. But until next time, I'll see you guys around.